Aria was an ordinary girl living in a small town, and like most kids her age, she was excited but a little nervous about starting school. On her first day of 5th grade, her grandmother gave her a new school bag. The bag was vibrant and colorful, with intricate designs woven into its fabric. "This is no ordinary bag," her grandmother whispered with a wink. "It's magical. It will help you when you need it most." Aria laughed, thinking her grandmother was joking, and hurried off to school. As the day went on, Aria discovered that school was harder than she thought. She had forgotten her ruler for math class, and when the teacher asked everyone to take out their supplies, panic struck. She opened her bag, hoping against hope she'd find something useful. To her amazement, there inside the bag was a shiny, brand-new ruler. Aria blinked in surprise. She knew she hadn't packed it. Maybe her grandmother was right, the bag was magical. Over the next few days, Aria began to experiment with the bag. Every time she needed something, it appeared inside as if by magic. Forgot her lunch, the bag provided a delicious sandwich and fruit. Lost her homework, the bag gave her a perfectly done copy. Aria was amazed at the bag's ability to help her, but she also began to rely on it for more than just emergencies. She started to use it for things she could easily do on her own, like packing her school supplies and completing assignments. One afternoon, Aria and her friends were playing on the school playground when they heard a loud cry. A younger student had fallen and scraped her knee badly. The teachers were far away, and Aria's friends looked at her, unsure of what to do. Aria immediately reached into her magical bag, and without thinking, she pulled out a bandage and a soothing cream. Her friends were amazed, and the little girl smiled through her tears as Aria helped her clean up the cut. Aria felt proud, realizing that the bag could also be used to help others in times of need. As time passed, however, Aria noticed that the more she used the bag for unnecessary things, the heavier it became. One morning, it was so heavy that she struggled to carry it to school. Every step felt like she was dragging a sack of stones. Frustrated, she sat down on a bench and opened the bag, wondering why it had changed. Inside, she found a note that hadn't been there before. It read, "The more you rely on me for what you don't need, the heavier your burden will become." Aria realized that she had been misusing the bag's magic. She had started to rely on it for things she could easily handle on her own, and now it was reminding her of the importance of balance. She decided then and there that she would only use the bag when absolutely necessary. That day, she carried the bag with more respect and appreciation, and to her relief, it felt lighter again. One day, Aria faced a real challenge. Her class was having a big project presentation, and she had forgotten to bring one of the most important materials, her poster board. Panic washed over her. Her first instinct was to reach for the bag and wish for a new poster, but she stopped herself. Instead of relying on magic, she took a deep breath and asked her classmates for help. One of her friends had an extra board and was more than happy to share. Aria completed the project on time and learned that sometimes asking for help was just as important as relying on the bag. From that day on, Aria used the bag's magic more carefully. She still reached into it during real emergencies, like when she needed a first aid kit during a class camping trip or a flashlight during a sudden power outage, but she no longer used it for shortcuts in her schoolwork or to avoid doing things herself. The bag became lighter, almost weightless, and Aria felt proud of the responsibility she had learned to carry. As she grew older, Aria realized that the magic of the bag wasn't just about making life easier, it was about teaching her the importance of self-reliance, helping others, and understanding when to use help and when to push herself. The bag became a symbol of her growth, and she began to share its story with her younger cousins and friends, teaching them the lessons she had learned. Years later, Aria stood in her room, preparing to leave for college. Her magical bag, now worn and faded with time, still hung on the hook by the door. She smiled, remembering all the times it had helped her and all the lessons it had taught her. Aria gently took it down, packed it with a few essentials, and slung it over her shoulder. The bag might be magical, but Aria knew that the real magic was in her own choices and the strength she had discovered within herself. With a final glance back at her childhood room, Aria walked out the door, ready to face the world with confidence and the lessons from her magical bag tucked safely in her heart.